everybody, and welcome back to another installment of our fall movie roundup. We're talking about October. October happens very quickly, very soon, depending on when we air this, probably later this week.
It's upon us.
I have to say.
It's imminently upon us.
October.
Everybody get your rent checks ready.
Jumping right into it. One of the first things coming out in October, weekend of October 3rd, we've got Gone Girl.
New Fincher. Everybody, I think there's a lot of people in the film community are big Fincher fans.
Sure.
He has made a lot of really good movies. He's made a couple of okay ones.
Gone Girl, of course, based on a novel that everybody loves. I haven't read the book myself.
It's a great book.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I hope to have it done by the time the movie comes out.
The fall is an interesting time period because it sort of combines some blockbuster movies with like all of the Oscar plays.
Right.
And Gone Girl is very clearly an Oscar play.
Right.
And unless they f*** it up, unless they just like really f*** it up, which I don't believe Fincher would do.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a contender.
And Affleck looks like he's really well suited for the part, too.
Yeah, he does.
Because Affleck isn't the rangiest of guys.
No.
He's effective for what he does. He's not the most rangy of guys, and from what I understand in the story, that's actually really gonna play into the strengths of the book, right?
Yeah, the not quite emotionally 100%
Right.
there kind of guy. I mean, like, I don't usually get excited for thriller type movies where there's like a murder and you have to, that's not usually the sort of movie I get pumped for.
Not a whodunit gal.
Yeah, that's more my dad's into that kind of movie. But this particular one, I am pretty excited for.
Well, and this might be the movie that like it's perfect timing for Ben Affleck in the sense that he's so good for this role and he supposedly does it so well that people may come out of it being like, Ben Affleck's a pretty good actor now. Maybe he would be a good Batman.
Take some of that Batfleck heat off of him. A little bit. That'd be good. I'm rooting for him. He never did anything wrong. He tried to be a movie star.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think he just...
I'm not going to begrudge him that.
He just... the only thing he ever did wrong was not being as good as his best friend.
Right. I mean, he went the Reindeer Games paycheck route. Paycheck the film, not the...
Well, I'm sure they
but
both
also that.
Also the paycheck.
Moving on. Something else coming out October 3rd is Men, Women, and Children from Jason Reitman.
Yeah.
Ivan's kid.
Ivan's kid.
Yeah.
Little Reitman.
Do we care about that?
I do. Okay, I really care because I'm a really big Ivan Reitman. I'm not. Yes, I'm also a big Ivan Reitman fan, but I'm a really big Jason Reitman fan. Yeah. I think that his like directorial voice is really, really separate from Ivan's. I'm a big fan of Juno. I liked Up in the Air. I like Thank You for Smoking. And Labor Day wasn't like it's hard. So Jason's coming off of last year's big flop, which was Labor Day.
Yeah.
That movie, nobody saw it, but the people who did see it, it's actually a really well-made movie. The problem with that movie, except for the last 20 minutes. But I think that this looks like him going back to what he knows how to do well,
which
in
is
an interesting way.
Looking at the terrible burden of being a privileged white person.
Yep,
as far
just
as I
like
can
Up
tell.
in the Air. But I liked Up in the Air a lot, and I like Juno a lot. So I feel like this would be a really good fit for him as a director, and the trailer, like, if nothing else, it's unlike any other trailer I've seen recently.
Yeah, the trailer, and honestly, what I was more interested in the poster. I think have you seen the poster that they released? The poster is like really cool looking, and it's probably on screen right now. But it's a very cool looking poster, and that actually got me more interested in the trailer. When I watched the trailer, it feels a little like well-worn territory to me. I mean,
I think that with Jason, what his stories, the stories that he gravitates to, I think what's really interesting about them is that they're not actually about like, oh, woe is me, I'm a privileged white guy. I think if we look at this world of like, this is the middle upper class suburban white echelon of America, which is a really big chunk of it.
Right.
What are the moral dilemmas that these people are facing? And they're real significant and substantial and interesting problems, as opposed to there is a whole like batch of like caustic young white hipster.
We're so growing up.
We're so white and middle class and bored.
But I mean,
it's never that.
Jason Reitman is like the slightly more highbrow version of that to me. But that's still ultimately it boils down to the same thing for me, and I just can't do it anymore. I couldn't make it through Up in the Air. I'm like, George, I just don't care, man. Well, I suppose we should mention the movie that actually comes out this October. So Men, Women, and Children, it seems to be about, the tagline of it is, you'd be amazed at how little you know about the people you know. Something along those lines. So, it's all about, like, the stuff that people are privately doing via email, via text, via, private message and all that stuff. And so it seems like everybody is sleeping with somebody else. And
for the record, I use the internet for none of those things. But,
Look, you brought that up.
It feels a little bit like a digital version of Little Children.
Yeah.
And I liked Little Children.
Little Children was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Okay, so the weekend after those movies
come out. Wait.
What?
I'm going to throw one in there for October 3rd.
What's that?
Annabelle. The spin-off of The Conjuring.
The creepy doll movie?
The creepy doll movie. Oh. But first of all, The Conjuring, the Hayes brothers wrote The Conjuring. I love The Conjuring. I think it's one of the best. I have some issues with the ending, but I think it's one of the creepiest and best horror movies of the last couple of years. And Annabelle was this background thing in that movie that and you wanted to know the story of that creepy doll so bad because creepy dolls are the worst.
Well, October 3rd.
And now you get it.
There you go.
I think if I were a horror fan, I would be super psyched for that movie. As it is, I am super psyched for Men, Women, and Children, which I will watch while the horror fan in my life goes to see Annabelle.
Yeah. I feel like the trailer for Annabelle, though, is it's just just a one little nudge, and it could be a spoof.
I think it's maybe a James Wan thing, but I think they really do heavily in the trailer of all the gimmicks, the look at what we did in this shot gimmicks, and so that's why it almost relies on spoof. While that's true, I think that the history of the movies that he's produced and directed, those things are in the movie, but they don't overpower the actual movie when you're watching them in context.
Yeah. Also, counterpoint to the whole borderline spoof thing, creepy dolls really are the worst.
Yeah.
No, they are the worst.
They are the worst
because they're actually creepy, like a doll.
Also,
but they're so the worst that it's to the point where you're like, why would you have that doll in your house?
Annabelle is less creepy than walking into an American Girl store. Walking into an American Girl store.
I disagree.
See, I've had American Girl dolls. I did not find them creepy until I woke up at 4:30 in the morning that one time, and there's the wrong light.
I would say the culture of American Girl dolls is creepier than Annabelle, but Annabelle as a doll, no, it's designed to
somebody's daughter's never getting an American Girl birthday party.
That's not true.
But I think that
I'm going to tell you that. Okay, so after the creepy doll has been added the weekend of October 3rd. Kill the Messenger. Weekend of October 10th is coming out. This is Jeremy Renner in the true life story of a journalist named Gary Webb who stumbles onto this whole... What are you about
Oscar number 3!
Well, I feel...
Oscar nomination number 3.
Oscar nomination number 3, maybe! Oscar number 1!
But it's a story about real life story about a journalist who stumbles onto the early... cocaine traffic, right, into the United States, and how the CIA might have been aware of that, and in fact helping it, and all kinds of crazy shit.
Because of the Contras. And
Contra, CIA, spies, reporters. So
it's the story of the journalist bringing that up.
And it's in the U.S., it's in Costa Rica, it's all up and everywhere.
This is the start, I think, of the flood of Oscar contenders. Gone Girl's there, but I almost wonder if Kill the Messenger is going to be the thing that sort of makes people forget about Gone Girl. Didn't Gravity pull that on something last year?
Gravity kind of started to pull it on 12 Years a Slave, even though 12 Years a Slave won.
But 12 Years a Slave was about slavery.
Captain Phillips.
Everybody forgot about Captain Phillips.
Gravity sort of pulled that on Captain Phillips and a few other things. And I feel like this might be when people start considering, this is the first of the crop of the Oscar nominations.
Right. Well, especially because no matter how much I believe in Ben Affleck and in Gone Girl, I don't know if anybody's going to be talking about an Oscar nomination for Ben Affleck as opposed to for Gone Girl in general, where I think Kill the Messenger, everyone's going to be like, holy Jeremy Renner, guys. We forgot because he's made a bunch of He made like Hansel and Gretel, and he's been like,
Okay, look, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. I'm excited. There's a sequel coming.
Oh god!
I honestly am. That movie. If that movie were 10% more bad, it would have been perfect.
Right, but like because Hansel and Gretel exists, his name are next to Academy Award.
He's been Hawkeye, and he's been born in the bad. He was the bad.
He was
born.
the bad born.
He was Hansel.
So everybody forgot about Hurt Locker, and what was the other one he was nominated for?
It was The Town, right?
The Town.
And honestly, he was like one of my favorite parts of American Hustle too.
Yeah.
Like he was surprisingly really good at it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually really loved him in Mission Impossible too. I think in Mission Impossible 4.
I think he was good. I think that character was a colossal up.
Yeah,
but he was fine.
He was great.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it works out. The director of the film, a guy named Michael Cuesta, he's really only done a lot of TV. He's got a ton of TV on his you know, he did a lot of Homeland, so the subject matter here would seem to translate from that. Also, the first season of Dexter.
Yeah.
Which
was one of the good seasons.
Yeah,
of Dexter.
exactly. Okay. Also on October 10th, one of Renner's fellow Avengers, actually, Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall starring in The Judge.
I'm gonna put my cards on the table and say that I don't think it's gonna be a movie that blows anybody away.
No.
I don't have a lot of confidence in it, but I think there's almost definitely going to be one scene in this movie that's Robert versus Robert. That's going to be, you can't miss. That you have to watch this movie and or wait for this scene to be on YouTube and to watch it in all of its glory.
Honestly, if there's only one of those, I'll be a little surprised.
I bet there's one big one. I bet there's like one like super awesome.
You search YouTube for courtroom confrontation, The Judge, and this will pop up from...
Right. It'll be like the 12 Angry Men scene. Like, that movie's amazing, but there's the scene, right?
Yeah.
Right. Robert Downey Jr. was really... he was really adamant about doing some smaller stuff for a little while after, you know, 2 Sherlock Holmes and all the Iron Mans and everything. And so this, to me, this feels like a script that was just kind of sitting around when he decided he wanted to do smaller things.
It kind of feels that way.
So I don't. It feels like one of those dramas that there's no real reason to make it other than it was sitting there and somebody happened to want to get attached to it.
And like I have my fingers crossed just because I do think that Robert Downey Jr. is one of the best actors in a really long time, and I'm happy that he got out of rehab and he came back, and I'm happy he's Iron Man, and I'm happy that all of those things are real. But I miss him in these like really small. Yeah. Roles where he gets to act, like he gets to showcase his talent.
He gets to be a human being.
Yeah, he gets to be an actual human being.
Yeah. Staying on October 10th, Whiplash. Whiplash is the Full Metal Jacket of jazz ensembles, from what I understand.
It looks awesome. I don't know if I'll enjoy the entire process of watching it, but
I love me some J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons is outstanding, and if he's going to spend this whole movie being just this stark raving lunatic, like, I'm in. I'm totally on board for that.
And I love movies about the crazy world of fill in the blank, but especially the crazy world of, like, performing and trying to be an artist and, mastering your art and your craft.
Right. Do you remember The Visitor? Mm-hmm. And it was, like, this, like, moment for Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that this is, like, the J.K. Simmons moment.
And Miles Teller is there, too. Whatever.
He's
Moving
fine.
on. Yeah. To the next weekend, October 17th, Fury. With Brad Pitt in a tank in World War II.
And Shia LaBeouf for some reason.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That's fine. But yeah, so the movie, Shia LaBeouf aside, looks really good. It's very Saving Private Ryan, Thin Red Line-ish, Band of Brothers kind of.
It looks beautiful.
It looks gorgeous. Gorgeous in how like dirty and grounded it is.
Yeah.
So it's.
I love the element of the tank where it's this claustrophobic environment, and you kind of get a sense of what the technology was at the time and what that meant for the people manning it.
And how people went about like warfare with a tank. Like we've never seen that really specifically on film.
One of the things I really respect about Brad Pitt is that when he's helming a movie, he's kind of like Ben Affleck in that sense, where like he will bring on the right people to make sure the story is really solidly told. And if Fury has a story worth telling, I'm kind of confident that he made sure that it's being told really well.
And David Ayer, who's writing and directing it, he did Training Day, he did End of Watch, he wrote Fast and the Furious. Let us never forget that he wrote the original Fast and the Furious.
So he's my favorite person in the world.
Yeah, done, of course. But he's good at these sort of smaller kind of character-driven dramas that are inside a much bigger mission. So
it's clearly another Oscar bait attempt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They're
Absolutely.
fishing.
There's almost no such thing as a non-Oscar bait World War II movie.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so Fury we're excited about. Next up, that same weekend, October 17th, is Listen Up, Philip, which I gotta tell you, I watched a trailer for this, and literally the only note that I wrote on my little thing here is pretentious.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what else to do with this movie.
Yeah.
The cast is good. Everybody in there, I know and I like the cast is great, but just the way that it was presented to me, I'm like, no.
It's Tribeca
one of the
with a Sundance movie.
It's a festival movie. It's a festival movie, but I think it's one of the few, if not the first main festival comedy from this year that actually got good reviews.
Oh yeah.
And so that's the only reason I'm curious about it. If it got these good reviews in the festival while it was doing its festival thing, and then it got bought and now it's being distributed, and some other people in some marketing department caught some trailer for it that they thought would be marketable.
Yeah.
I bet you the movie's nothing like the trailer.
No, that's why I think the trailer that's out right now gives a good sense to it. Feels like it gives a good sense of what the movie's going to be. I believe that is the tone of the film, and I just don't care. I bet it's good, and it's going to be one of those movies that I'm like, I gotta watch this, and then I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it probably.
Hopefully,
but just for now,
you're going to be
I don't
watching
know
Fury
how you
that
could
weekend
get more
anyway.
pretentious. So
yeah, that's
exactly.
Fury's weekend anyway.
It's probably Birdman.
Oh,
weekend.
yes.
Birdman also coming out October 17th. Now, Birdman,
You
we
watch
may
the
or may not
trailer.
actually need to continue talking about this. Just take it easy.
Can we just get a little insert?
Because we've talked about it a little bit on the channel and in other places. But Birdman, starring Michael Keaton.
It's also
It looks just so good.
It is.
well, it's got this trailer where you're not quite sure whether what where the movie is. Is he what's going on with the explosions? Is it all? It doesn't matter. It looks amazing no matter what is going on with what the actual plot of the movie. Is it a Broadway revival or do things explode?
Yeah. So what we can tell from the trailer is that it's Michael Keaton plays a guy who used to play a superhero, sort of like Michael Keaton. And so he's bringing some project to Broadway, and meanwhile his whole life and psyche and everything is collapsing around him.
It's kind of like The Wrestler in that sense.
Yeah, it's like a wrestler, except sort of the beat poetry version of The Wrestler is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with superheroes instead
Yeah,
of wrestling.
and Edward Norton in bikini briefs, and it looks like there's so much personality in this movie.
It's really hard for me to say because I've seen it. I saw it. And it's probably my favorite movie of the year.
Okay, well, we'll move on right there.
Yeah.
It's his favorite movie of the year.
So see that one.
And the rest of us are looking forward to it. The weekend after, October 24th, moving on. Laggies. Laggies is a movie with Keira Knightley. Was supposed to be Anne Hathaway, right?
Right.
But was now Keira Knightley. And it's about a woman who moves in with just some random little girl that she meets.
It's one of those, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm going to run away from my life.
Yeah.
Child is probably going to teach me that I should be an adult.
Right.
Movies.
So I'm going to skip it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I personally think it would have been maybe slightly more interesting with Anne Hathaway. Other people have different opinions about that. I also am really excited to maybe see Keira Knightley try to act again because I thought she was good for a long time, and then
I don't know.
Something happened.
I don't know what did happen though, because Anna Karenina, she was outstanding in that.
Yeah,
movie.
but nobody saw it.
I don't care if nobody saw it. You're saying she's not good.
Oh no, I'm not saying she's not good. I'm saying she's not considered good anymore. Nobody, everyone just thinks pirates. I think
there's just a preponderance of young brunette white girls.
Yeah,
and
Emma Stone happened.
Emma Stone. Well, but Emma Stone's a whole
she's
different...
sort of everybody's fourth choice or something.
Right. There's a pecking order situation that happened because Jennifer Lawrence happened and Emma Stone happened, and I think there's some other people that are now above her. But all that aside, this movie just it feels like a rehash of young adult, and it feels like
does.
it's just this is another one of those, like you said, it's another one of those I don't want to do it in my life. And I don't have time for that.
I'm not as much excited about the movie as I'm excited about what Keira Knightley does with it.
Okay, moving on to also October 24th, St. Vincent. With now this movie looks pretty cool. It's Bill Murray and it's Melissa McCarthy and a whole bunch of other people. It's got a really good cast. Chris O'Dowd, who I love Chris O'Dowd.
I have the opposite opinion.
But that's
Really?
it feels like another like a kid teaches a grown up how to be
like in your like
person.
rehash stories that I just don't give a shit about. This is top of my list.
It's
Bill Murray.
very similar.
Exactly.
But Bill Murray and Melissa McCarthy and Chris O'Dowd as opposed to Keira Knightley and Chloe Grace
Right.
Moretz.
No, it's about a boy. It's about a boy,
except it's about an old man.
Which is already a rehash story in the first place. But like the only reason I'm excited for this movie is Bill Murray because I think he will elevate the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And he'll bring up the rest of the already good cast even higher.
And I think he's going to have to because this is it's a first-time director, a guy named Theodore Melfi, who's got nothing but short films on his IMDb page. So we can look forward to that one or not because it's the same as the one that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Well,
So moving on.
Yeah.
To October 31st, Nightcrawler comes out October 31st. This is Jake Gyllenhaal as a clearly insane person who is chasing
Crime
news,
scenes.
the news, and crime scenes.
But
and all that.
only news in the sense that the evening news is news anymore.
Yeah, the whole if it bleeds, it
Like
leads
it's
thing.
this movie illustrates perfectly why I don't watch my local news.
It's scary.
Well, and because it's not necessarily news I need to know. I don't need to know that somebody got murdered 7 miles from me because they were probably murdered by somebody they knew, but I don't. So I'm fine.
Yeah. It was probably a drug deal gone wrong, and I don't deal drugs, so I will be okay.
None of my business.
Exactly. But man, this movie looks creepy. We didn't cover a lot of horror movies for all that we're covering October right now, but this one really is sort of towing that line between a drama and a horror movie.
Well, Gyllenhaal's got the look in this movie that, like, you know how when men are just a little bit underweight and their hair is just a little too long, and they have that weird gaunt creepiness to them? Like, Gyllenhaal's got that going for him in this one. So, like,
a little
it
blue
doesn't
eyeshadow right here.
Well, and it doesn't matter what he does; he's going to be scary in this movie.
Right.
But
And
it
we're
looks
going
like
into the fishing. The Oscar fishing category again. The big Hollywood female move for the Oscar is gain weight, right? Mm-hmm. The big male move is lose it.
This one doesn't quite feel like
it doesn't feel like he did the whole I lost 75 pounds thing.
Yeah, I feel like if he were doing this sort of weird sociopath character as a supporting actor, he would have a chance. But carrying a movie, this doesn't feel like Oscar bait.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like, hey, I lost a little bit of weight, and now I'm in this really serious movie during awards season.
No, he developed
at
the
least
look
fishing.
the look for the role.
I'm not saying he's gonna get it. I'm just saying he's fishing for it.
He's fishing and/or fishing for the next role that will get him the Oscar.
Yeah,
you know, like it.
But it looks great. It actually looks
great.
really great.
Right.
I don't know if I'll be feel real good about everything after I see it.
You
but
like life in general and the world?
I think this will bring you around to my precise logic for why I don't watch the evening news or the 24-hour
Because you don't
news.
know that drug dealer who just killed that guy.
I don't know that drug dealer. I don't do the drugs.
Look,
deal the drugs.
I'm right there with you. I don't know that drug dealer either. So let us know what movies you're looking forward to in October. These were just some of the movies that are coming out in October, by the way. These are just some of the ones that we picked because we're kind of interested in them for better or worse. So let us know what you're interested in October down in the comments below. Click like and subscribe, and come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now.
So you know that drug dealer? Because last time we did this, you were in a gang. So
That's true.
Oh.
And because I'm in a gang,
You know the
I
drug
know
dealer.
the drug dealer.